Hello, everyone, and welcome to our guided newspaper reading sessions. Today, we will be looking at an article that talks about the moon. So let us first look at why these guided newspaper reading sessions are necessary for us. One of the reasons why it is very necessary is because it helps us to build great vocabulary. Now, if your vocabulary is great, you will have no problem acing the IELTS test. And the more you know, the more idiomatic phrases you know, the better your speaking is going to be, the better your writing is going to be. Obviously, you're going to understand more from the reading section and also able to comprehend more from the listening section. So I would urge you to join our newspaper reading sessions. We have them every other day. So we're having one today and we'll have the next one on Saturday. So thank you so much for joining us in our IELTS newspaper reading session. It is a completely free guided newspaper reading session where I will count out vocabulary words for you and I will introduce to you what they mean. Apart from that, I will also be explaining some concepts to you, which will obviously broaden your general knowledge. You will also learn to read better, write better, speak better. So this session is really a very brief, power-packed sort of a crash course into how to develop every facet of the IELTS test, that is speaking, reading, writing, and listening. So thank you so much for joining me. Let us look at the title for this one. As you can see, this very beautiful image of a volcano. See, the next full moon is a super moon and a blue moon. So it's by Gordon Johnston. It's on the NASA website. And let's see what it means to have a super moon as well as a blue moon. Let's take a look. The next full moon is a super moon, a blue moon, and Rakhi Purnima. So happy Raksha Bandhan to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope your festival was great. I hope you had lots of fun. And the full moon is very, very auspicious. So let's begin to learn about it. The next full moon will be Wednesday night, August 30th, 2023, appearing opposite the sun in Earth-based longitude at 9:36 p.m. EDT. The planet Saturn, just a few days from its closest and brightest for the year, will appear near the moon. So the moon and Saturn will appear quite close together. As evening twilight ends at 8:42 p.m., Saturn will be 5 degrees to the upper right of the moon and will appear to swing clockwise around the moon. So here's a word for you, clockwise. Clockwise is, of course, meant as a word to denote direction. So you have seen the hands of a clock. Whatever direction they go in, that direction is clockwise. So for me, it would be like this. For you, it might be like this because you're facing me. So that's how the hands of a clock go. That's a clockwise direction. The moon will appear full for 3 days around the peak of the full moon, from Tuesday to Friday morning. So for many days, from Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, it will appear to be a full moon. This will be a super moon. Publications use different thresholds for deciding which moon qualify as super. So thresholds are different standards. Here's another new word for you, thresholds. Thresholds means standards for deciding which moons qualify as a super moon. We'd all agree that in 2023, the 2 full moons in August qualify. So the 2 full moons in August, one took place at the start of the month and other at the end of the month. They both comprise to be the full moon. If you read the article with me at the start of the month, you would have remembered that August 1st was another full moon. So there's absolutely no reason to choose this article apart from the fact that it's quite interesting. And I think you can get to learn a lot. So it's an interesting fact that you get to learn along with increasing your vocabulary and your general knowledge. So I thought it would be a great article. So let me just take a look at how many people have joined us for the newspaper reading session. Hello, Shiva. There's 4 people watching. That's great. I hope you're able to follow what I'm saying. The full moon will be the second full moon in August, making it a blue moon by the newer definition introduced by Sky and Telescope magazine in 1946. So the older definition of blue moon, dating back to at least the 1500s, is the name for the third full moon in a season that has 4 moons. So, we have that phrase once in a blue moon, which means occasionally, which means not every time, not every day, but only sometimes. So that phrase comes from this blue moon, once in a blue moon. What is the blue moon? So in a season, let's say in spring, summer, autumn, winter, you have 4 full moons for each season. So let's say in summer, you have 4 full moons. The third full moon of any season, summer, autumn, winter, spring, is going to be a blue moon. By this definition, the full moon in August 2024 will be the blue moon, and this full moon, as the last full moon of summer, shares some of the seasonal names from my posting for August 1st full moon. Neither of these definitions has anything to do with the color of the moon, so the blue moon will not actually look blue. So this does not have anything to do with the color of the moon, but it's just a name denoted to it from the 1500s. I hope you're following me so far. This full moon corresponds with the Hindu festival Raksha Bandhan. So I know a lot of you celebrated the festival of Rakhi today. To all those who did, happy Raksha Bandhan. And I hope you had a great one today. So let's look at how it corresponds to the festival of Raksha Bandhan. So-called Rakhi or Rakhi Purnima, celebrating the bond between brothers and sisters. One of the traditions is for sisters of all ages to tie a Rakhi in return as a sign of the continuing bond between them. The term Raksha Bandhan translates as the bond of protection, obligation, and care. So what is obligation? Here's another new word for you. First, we learned the word threshold, which means standards. So what is the meaning of this word? Wait, I'll just type it out for you so you have it written on your screen, which I think is going to be better. Threshold, which means standards. And this new one, obligation, which just means responsibility. Great. So I hope you're memorizing these words. These are very, very important from an examinations point of view, and it's going to be very, very helpful for you. So you can use them for writing, for speaking, for listening, and for in the reading test, you can obviously, if you encounter these words, you know what they mean. So this is why we conduct the guided newspaper reading sessions. Great. In many traditional lunisolar and lunar calendars, okay, so I think I missed something. Okay, no, I did not miss anything. In many traditional lunisolar and lunar calendars, the full moons fall near the middle of the lunar months. This full moon is in the middle of the 7th moon of the Chinese calendar. Safar is the Islamic calendar, and Elul is in the Hebrew calendar. Elul is a time of preparation for the high holy days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Customs include granting and asking others for forgiveness, as well as beginning or ending all letters with the wish the recipient will have a good new year. So these are all calendars which mark the beginning of a new year. As usual, As usual, the wearing of suitably celebratory celestial attire is encouraged in honor of the full moon. So here's a bit of complicated vocabulary for you. So let's just try to say it. Suitably celebratory celestial. These things rhyme. So the first letter of each of these words rhymes. So it creates a pleasing musical sensation. So that's called wordplay. But we're not focusing on that. So suitable means something that is appropriate. Suitable, appropriate. Celebratory, something that is worth celebrating, or something that you do in honor of the fact that you're celebrating something. So celebratory, the celebratory spirit is the spirit of celebration, right? Now let's look at the word celestial. There's another new word for you. I'll just write it down for you so you can have a look at it here along with all the other words. Celestial. Celestial just means belonging to the stars. Okay? Celestial is anything that's belonging to the stars, belonging to the space out there, the great dark void. Attire is another new word for you. I hope somebody from the chat might know the word, but if you don't know the word, that's completely fine. Here is a word for you. Attire means clothing. So what's your attire for today? What was your attire for Raksha Bandhan? Care to answer me in the chat? Please do answer me in the chat. I would love to hear your responses. Attire means clothing. So let me hear everybody's response. Yes, rarely, hardly, responsibility, duty. Shiva, you're giving great answers. Thank you so much for answering. Now, can you tell me what was your attire for the day? Attire is clothing, right? Great work. All right. As for other celestial events, okay, I missed something, and is encouraged in honor of the full moon. Take care of your siblings, let go of grudges. Here's wishing you a good year, new year. So let's just look at what the word grudges mean. Grudge. So you have to let go of grudges. Grudges are feelings of ill will you hold towards other people. So if you wish someone to be harmed, if you feel like someone has done you wrong and you wish wrong upon them back, that is called holding a grudge, not forgiving someone, always keeping accounts, being very, very petty. That's called holding a grudge. I hope you're all noting down these words. These are going to help you in your IELTS speaking, reading, writing, all the sessions. It's going to help you there. As for the celestial events between now and the full moon after next, with specific times and angles based on the location of NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C. As summer ends and fall begins, the daily periods of sunlight continue to shorten, changing their fastest around the autumnal equinox. So, as winter approaches, the time period of a single day gets shorter and shorter and shorter, right? So that is what is happening. The autumnal equinox occurs around September to October. It's the mid of autumn. On Wednesday, August 30th, 2023, the day of the full moon, morning twilight will begin at 5:35 a.m. EDT. Sunrise will be at 6:35 a.m. Solar noon will be at 1:09 p.m. and the sun will reach its maximum altitude of 60 degrees. Sunset will be at 7:42. So these are just timestamps for when sunset would occur, when noon would occur today, when different times of the day would occur. These are not really important because you know all the words here. So let's move on to the next paragraph. No major meteor showers are predicted to peak during this lunar cycle. 3 minor showers will peak at 6 of pure visible meteors per hour under ideal conditions, effectively not visible from a brightly lit urban environment. So urban environment, does anybody know the meaning of the word urban? I think it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. If you're preparing for IELTS, you might or might not know this word. Urban means belonging to a city. Okay, that's what the word urban means. So anything that's from the city is urban. Something that is from a town is suburban. Something that's from a village is rural. So these are words that you might want to learn for yourself. These are the words you might want to make use of while learning different words for the IELTS exam. So please keep these in mind. As this lunar cycle progresses, the background of stars and the planet Saturn will appear to shift westwards each evening as Earth moves around the sun, while the planet Mars will shift more slowly on the western horizon. I hope you know the meaning of the word horizon. In case you don't, I'll write it here for you. The word horizon, the place where the sky and ground seem to meet. This is horizon. As this lunar cycle progresses, the background of stars, okay, we've done this. All right, so I hope you understand what all these words mean. Let's see. Is it important to read these planetary details? I don't really think so. These are just planetary details. We don't really need to go into this calendar-wise breakdown of it. So I think that will be it for the newspaper reading session today. Thank you so much for joining me for the newspaper reading session. I hope you were able to learn these new words, which in turn benefit you in your vocabulary, in your in your reading, in your writing, and your grammar. So any new information you learn, you can use to talk about it in your speaking section. Any new words you learn, you can use to incorporate them in your speaking, in your writing. You can better understand reading. So let's go over all these words we learned today. All right, let's go over these and have some practice. Threshold. What does threshold mean? Standards. So threshold of something means the standard for something or just the boundary of something, right? I hope you get it. Obligation. Obligation means responsibility, your duty towards something, your responsibility towards something. Great. Celestial. Celestial. The word is celestial. It means anything that's belonging to the stars. Attire is clothing. Attire is clothing. Grudge. Grudges are feelings of ill will towards other people. And if you feel like if you feel like somebody did you wrong and you want to hurt them back, that's you holding a grudge, which is not a good thing. Urban, belonging to a city. Urban refers to anything that belongs to let's say, a metropolitan area, a modern area, an area that is not rural, an area relating to a city. Horizon, the place where the sky and the ground seem to meet. So if you might have seen a sunset or a sunrise, let me just show you here. This is the sky, this is the ground, and this line where the ground and the sky seem to intersect, to meet, this exact position is called the horizon. Okay? I hope you learned all these new words. You are free to take a screenshot of these words and incorporate them in your vocabulary, try to learn them. You have a day to practice before the next newspaper reading session. I hope you will join us for the next session. Thank you so much for attending the class. If you want to improve in any parts of the IELTS, you're free to reach out to us. We provide coaching, we provide consultation, study abroad, we provide a lot of free resources as well. So if you want to attend our master classes, our workshops, and if you want to just know what the IELTS exam is all about, you're more than free to go to our Instagram handle, which is IELTS by a Verbalist, and you'll find a lot of helpful posts there. Thank you so much for watching. Good evening, everyone. I'll see you in the next